Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I hope you're doing well on this final Monday of 2024. We are back here with another episode of Nerdcamp Sports. I am Mike Williams. This is Raja Anthony Ali. How you feeling tonight, my brother?
Man, I'm pretty good, man. Like you said, it's the last day of it's last Monday of the year. You know, um, Really a lot of exciting stuff happening right now. So definitely looking forward to talking about what's going on with the NFL, NBA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to hop right into it. So I read a report earlier today that the NBA teams are pushing to change the playoff format from 1 through 8 in the East, 1 through 8 in the West, a representative from each conference meeting the finals, to 1 through 16. 16
Right.
best teams. Don't matter if 12 of them are in the Eastern Conference or if
hmm
only 6 come from the Western Conference. What are your thoughts on that seeding? And is it something that they should consider or that they should do?
Well, since the NBA been in its decline with its ratings and people's attention, because honestly, I think a lot of people are viewing the NBA as like a dying sport right now. Like a lot of broadcasters, a lot of news channels are saying it that a lot of people are not watching the game. So I think this will be a great thing. I mean, it's a little bit unconventional, but I think innovation is always necessary when it comes down to trying to create some type of buzz and some type of excitement. So for the NBA to go to the top 16 teams, 8 on one end and 8 on the next, and just compete, no matter what the conference is, I think it's a great thing because other sports do it. All other major sports do it, except hockey. Hockey's the only sport that doesn't really do that. But you have you have MLB. They do it. But they have the American League and National League. So it doesn't matter what side of the United States you're on. If you're a part of the National League, you play in the National League games up until the finals, up until the World Series. Excuse me. Same goes with football. There's the NFC and the AFC, American and National. So it's like you can look at it like that. It's going to be the same type of format as far as for basketball as well. Now, the reason why I feel like it's not really promoted or pushed the way it's supposed to, or this idea is just coming up, is because of, like I said, the tradition of having East Coast versus West Coast, of the tradition of having the Eastern Conference All-Star team versus the Western Conference All-Star team. But since that is gone, and we're not really doing that anymore, and we haven't did it in about 5 or 6 years, I think it's time for us to take a look at a top, like you said, 16 team setup, 8 on each end, and then see who's the best team in the NBA. That's the only way that it can happen. So I think it's a great idea overall.
I'm going to give you some reasons why this is 100% a good idea and not a bad idea at all.
Okay.
First of all, I feel like the level of competition and the way people compete is the reason why the NBA is declining. Personal opinion. I
Yeah.
feel like the lack of defense and the lack of the ability to just want to put on a good show is gone. I think eliminating because now think of it like this, okay? Hold on. Let me try and get the standings up here, okay? Safari. So, like, we're just gonna look at this, full circle. Okay, so now they're technically right now we have to look at the top 10 teams on each side, right?
Right.
Like we have to consider those bottom two in
Mm-hmm.
for at least for a few extra days. Okay. So now let's just say I'm looking at the Eastern Conference right now. So now if you look at the Eastern Conference, the Bulls are the Heat are in 7th at 16 and 14, Pacers 8, 16, 17, Bulls 9, 14, 18, Pistons are 10, 14, 18. You flip to the Western Conference, it's about the same. 16, 16, 16, 15, 17, 14, 17-13 now. But those Western Conference numbers are better than those Eastern Conference numbers, right?
Yeah.
So let's just hypothetically say they went with this and that ended today. Those Eastern Conference teams, they're going to play harder to make sure they're better than those Western Conference teams.
Oh,
Because now
absolutely.
there's no saying, oh, well, it's okay if it's okay if we don't play hard, right? Because now
Yeah.
you're going to want to make it. You're going to want to have an opportunity. And now also home court advantage for those higher teams. Now,
Yeah.
instead of at the end of the season possibly throwing the game away, right? Now let's just pull that back up and see if there's a point there. So like in the Western Conference, the Grizzlies are 26-5. The Cavs are 27-4. So
Right.
now instead of them saying, okay, we're going to lock this thing up quick, now they're going to say, oh, well, we want that record. We want the best record. So we know we got the control of the whole series. Also, head-to-head matchups become much more important,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're in division or not. So now, because we know, like if let's just say the finals is, the Celtics and the Nuggets, let's say. Okay.
Right.
And let's say the Celtics win both games. Well, if they meet in the finals, the Celtics have home court advantage. They beat them twice. But now, so that becomes more important even in the same conference because
Right.
it could be, for all we know, it could be the Cavs and Cleveland in the finals for that. Now, let's just say you're like, we don't need to beat Cleveland. We locked this up. Now,
Yeah.
I have to go on the road for a game 7 in a hostile environment. And no one likes to be on the road for a game 7. No one. That is one of the most hostile environments you can be in. So, me
Right.
personally, this is my personal opinion. I believe that this is phenomenal. If they were
Right.
to do it, Adam Silver, in my opinion, has done some good for the NBA. He has.
Mm-hmm.
People. I'm not a fan of this Amazon thing personally, but
It's bound to happen.
money wise, because regular cable TV is going to be gone in 5 years, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if it's not, it's going to be highly diminished. So,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, you got a multi-billion-dollar deal. You've gotten W because the NBA funds the WNBA. You've gotten
Yeah.
WNBA ratings up, revenue up, going in the right direction because people want to say it's Caitlin Clark, but it was happening last year. It was
Yeah.
happening
It's been
last
happening for years.
year. But last year showed you could see the difference. You could see
Yeah.
the significant increase in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have that, right? So, but I wasn't a fan of the playing thing when it happened because I was, traditionally.
Right.
I but then it happened. I'm like, okay, we got some real good basketball out of that.
Yeah.
Still not in on this cup. I just can't get with the courts, first of all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
listen, you can play on a regular court. Just, give them special uniforms or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a method behind that. Well, I'll let you rock with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. Just
So,
real quick.
well,
Yeah.
I'm almost done. But to me,
Okay.
this is great. If
Mhm.
they one day do it, I would personally like it. I think it would just bring a higher level of competitiveness to the NBA. Personally,
I agree. I agree, and I agree with all points. Just a little pushback on the NBA Cup, and I love the NBA Cup. That's the reason why I'm so passionate
that's just
about it.
me. Personally, I don't like it. And I'm just sorry,
Yeah.
one more thing. Because to
Yeah.
me, like it is a badge of honor,
Mhm.
but it's just not a championship. It's
True.
just for me.
True.
Like,
Yeah. No. No. You 1,000% right. No. No. It's nothing's going to equal up to the
Larry,
the NBA championship. I don't think. But it gives opportunity for some of the teams that aren't going to make it into the finals to get opportunity to compete for something. Like prime example, we all were crapping on and I'll just throw it out there. we were crapping on Doc Rivers and his coaching for probably like months, right? How
Yeah.
bad of a coach he is and stuff like that. But in reality, we know unless some miracle happened in the East, the Bucks aren't going to win a championship. They're not going to win the finals. So to see them in an NBA Cup situation and winning something, and the fact that Dame Lillard got some type of hardware in his trophy case, which is great. I think it's always great for anybody to have any type of award or some type of trophies. Um, but as far as the NBA courts and stuff like that, I agree because like I really don't like the Chicago Bulls court, and I don't
Yeah.
like the I forgot what other team that's a red team. Anyway, those type of courts, those courts hurts my eyes.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there's also a method to the NBA's madness because what they're doing is they're taking what we know as a regular season game and taking it out of context, and they're making its own type of universe where they can add so many sponsorship. Like even the name of the cup isn't even called the NBA Cup anymore. It's called the Emirates NBA Cup.
Okay. So they changed
So
it.
it's like just that little change now added in probably like $100 million for ad revenue or whatever. You know what I'm saying? To be able to have the cup changed every year of the name or whatever it is. Um, Now as far as like cable, Amazon Prime, stuff like that, listen, let's just be honest. Cable's done, like you said, in 5 years, right?
Roughly.
But what's going to end up happening is you're going to see a lot of these games be streamed and you can buy it per game. I'm noticing that now with the NFL. You can buy individual games. You can do that with NBA too as well. You can buy individual games for like $3.99, $4.99 per game. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So they're going from streams to pay per game if you want to watch a game or whatever. And they're trying to crack down on a lot of these streaming services that are free. There's a few websites out there that people have been using that's now no longer available for sports. So I say all that to say, going back to the original topic, this is another way the NBA can become better, and especially when it comes down to the attention. Because the problem is we've been watching watered down basketball for the past couple years and LeBron
Yep.
is 40. He's literally 40 today. So he can't carry the NBA to the next promised land.
No.
And to be quite honest, there's not a lot of superstars that's coming up.
No, not at all.
There's not a lot of superstars. I mean, there's some good players, don't get me wrong. Like I love LaMelo Ball. I think he's great. But he's not a superstar. He's a marketing star. Like you can market him. Anthony Edwards, I think he's the closest thing to a superstar. But unfortunately, he doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. He says these random things at like these press conferences and these interviews that's killing his
Just
brand.
I just seen he got fined 100 grand.
Again, yes. Again. Because he doesn't know how to. I don't know who's his media training team, but they got to tell him you can't curse on TV and there's certain things you can't say.
Well, we live in a country or in a time where they say you have freedom of speech, but free speech isn't free.
Never free.
There's certain things that like that you just can't say.
Yeah.
You have to stand on what you believe. You want to stand on what you believe, but the way you word what you believe has to be worded in a way to where you don't offend anyone, where you don't
Right.
hurt someone's feelings, where you don't do this, you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, even the episode we had a couple weeks ago, I mentioned the name and got flagged. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
things of that nature. So, like, you really, unfortunately, you have the right to say what you want, but the part they don't tell you is there's consequences to you saying those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like, for instance, and I'm just using it as an example. I'm not saying that people should say it, but we have freedom of speech in America. We live in the most freest country on the planet, right? But
Yeah.
you can't walk into a movie theater and say fire. You can,
Well,
you can, but there's consequences to that. You can go to jail. because now you're hurting people because you can unfortunately cause a riot pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's certain things you can and cannot say at certain times. You got to know how to read the room pretty much.
Absolutely.
And what I'm saying is like a superstar as far as talent goes and marketability goes, like, you know, like Anthony Edwards, you would think that, hey, this guy can potentially be the next superstar of the NBA or the next face of the NBA. He can, but he also needs training and he needs some type of like media help where he knows how to keep himself together. So that's all. But
I
yeah,
think can't even deny that.
absolutely.
You can't deny that at all. Like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes. So so another NBA topic. Last season or the season before the Kings were in third place when the season ended and went to the playoffs. It was two
I
seasons.
think it was last season. They've been doing pretty good for the past couple seasons. I think it was last season.
Because I know one season they were in like seventh. I think it might have
It
been two
was
seasons.
probably the season before last. It was in 7.
How do we go from that to Mike Brown's firing? What are your thoughts on him being fired?
Well, first and foremost, don't become coach of the year. Wait, I can't hear you, Mike.
No, I muted myself because I had to say something to my kids.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying first and foremost, don't ever become coach of the year. That's a death sentence.
I seen a thing where like the last 8 coaches of the year were fired except Tom Thibodeau. He's the only one.
And I think Greg Popovich was like the other one too. Like as far
Oh,
as like,
they probably scared to fire that man.
yeah, no, they're not firing. They're not firing. But I'm just using that. I'm just saying because it's like Mike Brown, if my memory serves me correct, I think 2023 he won Coach of the Year, with the Kings, and now all of a sudden he's fired. Well, here's the thing: we live in a league, or we live in a time where a league like the NBA, the coaches, the coaches are the most least important person in the whole entire building when it comes down to how this whole entire team operates. And I say that because coaches are dispendable. They're like a dime a dozen.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
this guy literally won Coach of the Year in 2023. I was correct. 2023, he won Coach of the Year. But do you remember when he won Coach of the Year in 2009 with LeBron
Yeah.
and the Cleveland Cavaliers? He got fired the next year.
What?
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh man.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how you get fired the following year? And he got fired. He got fired twice in like a situation where he became coach of the year. So I say all that because Mike Brown is the scapegoat for the Sacramento Kings. The real problem is nobody wants to play in Sacramento. Nobody wants to play there. De'Aaron Fox is asking for a trade. It didn't work with DeMar DeRozan. This whole experiment that happened with him coming to Sacramento. And to be quite honest, the team is a hard team to watch. Like I watch them on TV. I'm not impressed. I think Domantas Sabonis is a great big man, but he's not in the right time. Like if he would have played in the early '90s or late '90s, early 2000s, he would be a star.
And
But
now just looking at the standings as you're speaking, and I'm looking at a
yeah,
standings that's really in a different time and place. The Grizzlies pretty much retook where they were before John Morant did all his stuff. It's
right.
like they haven't missed a beat. Right at the
Yeah,
top, they're 5 games behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, killing it again. The
yeah.
Rockets have leveled up, and from what I'm reading, they're looking to get a superstar before the trade deadline. That would definitely shake up the standings even more, possibly if they're able to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
You still look at the Mavericks, even without Luka Doncic, Kyrie's still there. The rest of the team's a good cohesive unit. The Lakers are in the mix, of course. The
Yeah.
Clippers are in the mix, of course, even without Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
The Nuggets are sitting there down there a little low. The Timberwolves have taken a big step back.
Right.
The Warriors were in first when I looked like a long time ago. Uh, now they're like at the bottom, and then you got the Spurs, the Suns, and the Kings. So you got a lot of teams with a lot more experience. And, I think that they, once again, like you said, they needed a fall guy. They didn't
Yeah.
need, wasn't so much that it was Mike Brown himself, but they needed a fall guy. And that's
Right.
what I believe happened in this particular situation. Because you know me, I'm a firm believer in that it's not always the head coach. Like
No.
sometimes the team just ain't playing well. And then
Yeah.
there's times where it is the head coach. So we
Right.
have to really look at this full circle and say, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like you're paying these guys, and this has been the NBA's biggest problem. The NBA is the only league that I know outside of baseball that pays people hundreds of millions of dollars, right? In their span of their career. Hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's guaranteed money. It's not like it's money that's, oh, if you do X, Y, and Z, it's incentivized. Like NFL, it's incentivized. Like you don't have a guarantee contract unless you hit certain benchmarks, right? I believe hockey's the same way. I'm not sure. Uh, but the NBA, you could pay a guy 35, 40 million dollars to literally sit on a bench like Kawhi Leonard. And it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy because we can't argue. We can't sit there and argue and be like, oh, we're not going to pay him because you already paid him. You see what I'm saying? So it just, like I said, it's the biggest issue with the NBA is people are spoiled. They make a lot of money, and the coaches aren't respected. So somebody
That's it.
that literally won Coach of the Year 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, is now unemployed. What does that
Listen,
tell you?
no one got it worse than Dwayne Casey.
Oh yeah, that was horrible.
Won coach of the year that year and
He
got
got
fired.
fired.
Like how?
That should be against the law.
You won coach of the year. You won 59 games. And they're like, we don't need you.
And LeBron helped him walk out that door.
Like,
I'll never forget when LeBron spit the ball around and hit the three. Remember that?
LeBron was like, nah, homie, you getting fired. This ain't even my team and you getting fired.
Oh man. Yo, they broke that whole team up. They broke that whole team. They blew that whole team up after LeBron did that. He did some type of like layup kiss shot off the side and he called it.
Yes.
Remember? They said he was doing all these tricks during the playoffs. And I was dying because I'm like, LeBron really don't care about this Raptors team at all. Like
He was like, nope.
oh man. He was hitting these like trick shots and spinning the ball around, looking around, hitting threes. He was just acting up, man. But going back to the original subject and topic, um, honest opinion on the situation, I think that Sacramento is a team that need to move. I think you need to move the team.
Move
Yeah, like
the franchise, you're saying.
move the franchise. Yes, like and I'm not being disrespectful for anybody listening from Sacramento, but here's the thing: how many people you know said, "Damn, I can't wait to go to Sacramento"?
I've never heard that.
You don't go to Sacramento on purpose. I know it's the capital of California, but is it?
You not going there for
You're not going there for a vacation. You're not bringing your family there to Sacramento for a vacation.
You're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. So I think they need to move the team. You know what would be great if they move the team? If they move the team since it's in the West Coast, If they brought it to Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
I mean,
Remember they had the Grizzlies up there?
that's true.
They're dying for a franchise to come back or move it to Seattle.
That's true. They definitely got options. That's
So,
because they've been wanting to get a team to Seattle anyway.
yeah.
And it's been in the talks to add one there and Vegas. But they were talking about, last I heard is they were talking about moving them from there, from Vegas. Or I'm sorry, they wanted to move because it's going to throw the conferences off, right?
Right.
Because so now you'd have to move like Charlotte or like Memphis possibly to the Eastern Conference because now you have two teams too many. Because you're talking
Well,
about two West Coast teams.
well, that's the thing. If they move the Kings to Las Vegas, right? Instead of building a whole brand new team, they don't have to. They don't have to move nobody. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's still on the West Coast. It's not like it's on the East Coast. It's still on the West Coast. It's like maybe 5 or 6 hours away.
True.
But yeah, I think that'd be great. I can listen. The Las Vegas Kings sound really good. I like that.
It actually does. Well,
I like that.
What's the hockey team the Kings called? Where are they at?
Los Angeles.
Oh, so yeah. See,
Same
they
thing.
are. It's a match made in heaven.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like you're closer to LA. I think LA is 2 hours away from Las Vegas or 3 hours away from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You're not far from LA. Las Vegas is a growing city. Like it's already Las Vegas, but you know what I mean as far as sports. They're gonna have the A's out there soon. They got the football team. They got the Vegas Raiders out there. Yeah, man, they just need to move the team. I honestly believe they need to move the team for it to have like some type of life. Because even when they played in the playoffs, it was like second or third place. They were disrespected. They got knocked out in the second round, and nobody cared.
Yeah, exactly. They got that Kirk Cousins.
They got Kirk Cousins. Nobody cared, bro. Like I watched the games. I'm like, I really don't care about this team. And like I said, don't get me wrong. I love De'Aaron Fox. I love DeMar DeRozan. I even think that Sabonis is actually a good player too. Really, really good player.
Absolutely.
Triple doubles. But it's just that nobody cares about this team, man.
And well, that sounds like a segue. Kirk Cousins.
Oh man, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it just really stings. Really stings. And we seen last night, Washington and Atlanta. And a really good game, actually.
Oh yeah, very good, entertaining, very very entertaining. Went to overtime, everything.
Yeah, and but Washington they were bound for the playoffs.
Yeah,
They were bound for the playoffs, and Michael Penix Jr. He looks like a rookie. It's not like he was given this position, like we thought.
right.
But because like that first drive, I mean, he just overthrew the guy, like just threw it right to the other team. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He just threw it right to the other team. And I think that, I think Washington's got a chance to do some good stuff in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But Atlanta, I think they're going to come back with the same team, give it another shot. But where do you think Kirk Cousins? Because they're going to cut him before the March deadline, which is the new league year starts usually around the 15th. So, where do you think is a good landing spot moving forward for Kirk Cousins?
Well, at this point in his career, he's probably going to be a backup quarterback. It's unfortunate because you already know how I feel about Kirk Cousins. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's talented. I just think And with his injury, it just really didn't show who he truly is as a player. But with that being said, he's probably going to go to a team like the Dallas Cowboys. I know that sounds bad, but think about it for a second, Mike. Who else will take that contract just to take the contract? That's a lot of money. I mean, I know they're probably going to pay him out 30, 25, 30 million. I don't know how much they owe him, but I'm talking about a backup quarterback getting paid top dollar or whatever it is. I don't know how their situation is going to turn out. And I can honestly see him in a place like, in Dallas, or a place like Arizona, or a place like even like San Francisco, like him in 49ers. You know what I'm saying? Like a backup role, a mentor, somebody that's like willing to take one of these young quarterbacks under their wing. Now, as far as the Dallas take, I know Dak isn't a young quarterback at all. He's a veteran at this point, right?
Yeah.
But think about this, Mike. Do you see Dak coming back next year?
I, as much as I want to say no to that question, I do.
Wow. Okay.
I because like I want to say no, but the thing is, what are their options? They gave him that big contract. I mean, yeah, there's ways around it, but is someone going to want to take on that contract for someone who's underperformed, knowing you're going to have to give up heavy compensation to even take on the contract, let alone him, right? So now, what assets are you giving up? What because there's no doubt, like if he was available, right? I would take him on the Steelers over a lot of quarterbacks in the league. I'm not even going to hold you. But what I am saying is that heavy price tag. Like I said, I want to say no to that, but due to
Right.
that alone is the only reason why I'm going to tell you yes. Due to that contract.
So what if he gets a buyout? Like what if they pay the contract like they did with Russ?
Then obviously the answer is no.
Okay.
If they're able to, especially if he can get a discount somewhere. But the Cowboys have to ask themselves before they even talk about quarterback, they ask themselves who's going to be their coach. They say McCarthy's coming back, but
He's
listen,
coming back.
he ain't the coach for this team.
Why not?
I just don't, to me, I think he's still like, okay, you know how the game adjusts and things change within the game?
Yeah.
Well, he
He's not adjusting with the change.
my boy Brandon, he's a big Commanders fan. He said Jaden Daniels, versatile, ice in his veins, man of God, the whole package. When you look at it, yeah, he hasn't adjusted with the times. He hasn't gotten better with his coaching. He still has that coaching back of like when he won that Super Bowl. And that was what 2008,
So wait a minute. So you're telling me he's the Doc Rivers of the NFL?
Yo, they both did win
They
2008.
won they won at the same time.
Yo, I didn't even think about that. That is legit. He
He's
is the
the Doc Rivers.
he is the
Yo.
Rivers of the NFL. Damn.
And he stayed with a job too. It's not like they fire him and just like get rid of him. He's the only difference is he's white and he don't got a raspy voice. That's the
Yeah,
only difference.
yeah,
They do the
that's
same thing. Nah, but all jokes aside, you're right. You're right. He's not adjusting, Mike. And I think you know what else? I think since he won that Super Bowl, it's been like it's like he's riding off of that old name.
yeah.
And nobody respects him because they know like the locker room don't respect him. Like Michael Parsons, man. that dude was talking hella crap about him. So
Oh, of
I get
course,
it.
of
I get
course,
it.
and it's the same. It's the same thing as people don't respect the coaches, and when you've lost your locker room, you've lost him, you lost that player.
Yeah.
Now you're just gonna keep losing people,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
and so now that's the first thing, and then when you start to look at who's going to be the quarterback, do I see him coming back? No, but hey, maybe they do buy him out, and you know Casey gets a shot. You
That's
know,
what I'm saying. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna find a way because he's too good of a quarterback for them to be like, all right, we're not gonna allow him to just be on no. Like we're just gonna let him retire. Like think about it. Joe Flacco's playing with the Colts, man.
I mean, and then you start to think about who needs a quarterback, right? Like a team like the Saints comes to mind for me. Um,
Right.
a team like the Raiders comes to mind. Um,
Yeah, the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback situation with the Raiders definite. You know.
there are some teams out there that few and far in between that can utilize one. Hey, you never know what can happen in Cleveland.
True.
You
I think he's a
know,
better quarterback than Jameson.
yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely something to watch out. So keep an eye out for that. Shout out to the Washington Commanders in the playoffs now. But I want to talk about Christmas Day. Christmas Day wasn't good.
Why
You know,
not?
you know, it's we've become something interesting. Interesting. We were 10-3, and now we're on the verge of ending this season 10-7 because next week we have to go to Cincinnati and play a hungry Cincinnati team who's trying to make the playoffs. They
Good
got
point.
they got like think so. The part of the schedule I was most fearful of was the part of the schedule where we started failing. You know,
Hmm.
we beat Baltimore the first time. Cool, 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 cool. Then after we then then or we had played a game against Cincinnati, we won that. Cool. Then we dropped the game to Cleveland, a game we should not have lost. And then we played. Who did we play? Philly. No, we played. I forget who we played. But then we lost to Philly, and then we lost to the Chiefs. And then we lost to Baltimore. This is like 2020 when we started out 11-0 and ended up 12-4. We were in control of our own destiny,
Yeah.
and then lost. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this though to the Chiefs, that this is a problem because they're figuring it out. Hollywood Brown's return has made this offense more dynamic.
Yeah.
And Checo,
Absolutely.
Checo back has made this more dynamic. You still have Hopkins there. You have Xavier Worthy being utilized. You have that. You still have 87 out there. I don't care if he's having a bad year. He had a good game on Christmas.
He sure did.
And that's what you got to look at. That's what you have to look at. That's what you have to figure out is now you're looking at a team that's just really showing their championship poise
Right.
because now they have their poise It's that right point of the season where it's like, okay, it's time for us to be who we are. And now nobody's safe. I don't
Right.
care what Buffalo's doing. I don't care what Cincinnati's trying to do. I don't care what Lamar Jackson's doing. When it comes to December, when it comes to January, when you have Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Andy Reid, what else can you say? What else can you do? And then now for the Steelers, they're in a precarious situation. There are Steeler fans that believe Mike Tomlin should be fired.
No.
Now, I will say this, and I hate to say this, but if we were talking about any other coach, they would have been fired.
What? Are
I
you
believe
serious?
so. Because you look at the poise, or maybe not any other coach. Let me rephrase: any other organization,
Okay.
he'd have been fired. He would have
Do,
been.
do you feel he should be fired?
No, I don't feel that at all.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is because the team has only had three coaches in the history. You know, Bill Cowher has had 4 losing seasons as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. Right.
There's other things that compare, but other fans believe like this is a thing. Like he really should be fired. And then my thing is, then who coaches the team?
That's what I'm saying.
Who do we get to replace him? Because for me, he's one of the greatest coaches ever.
Ever.
And
Not
granted,
just in the franchise history, in football.
now has he underwhelmed in terms of Super Bowl victories? Absolutely. We got to call a spade a spade. He should at least have one more. He should at least have one more. That Killer B era was special. Ben, Bell, and Brown, and even Boswell was part of that Killer B era. That's how long he's been around.
Yep.
So when you look at that, but the thing was at that time, our defense was not good. Our offense will throw 50 on you and allow 51. The defense will allow 51. So when you look at that, that was the issue then. But now, past couple years, we've had elite defense, but haven't had offense or consistent offense. So they always got one or the other. People are like, what happened to your defense? I'm like, they were allowing 10 points a game for 8 weeks. They're tired. The offense has to help them.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. They're going to make mistakes. So, we lost, and, we're probably going to lose again on Sunday next week. But the Chiefs are poised, and I think that they want it, and they're going to go through whatever they have to go through to get it.
That's fair. And I honestly think, you know what? This has been a rough year for the Steelers. I think that they had a lot of growing to do this season because remember, they not only started with a new quarterback, they started with 2 new quarterbacks. Okay, so it was like pretty much something we never seen before, where you have 2 brand new quarterbacks who are both of them are franchise quarterbacks at where they played, right? And they were trusted and it was loved. And one of the quarterbacks, which is Russ, he's a winner. He's got he won a Super Bowl before. So it's like you got to look at it like this, Mike. What are the expectations? What are the real expectations for this team? And once you answer that question, then you got to ask the next question: is did they reach their expectations or did they fall below it? And in reality, bro, And I'm not a Steelers fan, but I'm just saying, like, you guys did pretty good this season.
Yeah, I think so. Considering
The circumstances, the situations, how top heavy the AFC is. You know how crazy top heavy the AFC is? I don't think people understand. The AFC is the most like jacked conference I've probably ever seen in sports, bro. I'm keeping it a stack with you.
MSG Network.
You know what I'm saying?
abs-
Like, I have a hard time believing that people really honestly believe Mike Tomlin should be fired. Like, that to me is just disgusting. Like, I can't even articulate the words how I feel because just hearing that makes me upset.
yeah, exactly.
Because
You know, like
I know where it's coming from, but I'm not gonna say it on this. I'm not gonna say it on this air. But I know where that's coming from, and I know who's saying that kind of crap. You know, and it's not fair. It's not fair at all because you got people out here that's not even like you. Literally got coaches that don't even care about winning, and they keep their job forever.
yeah, and it makes no sense. Like it don't make no sense at all.
Nope.
And I'm just trying to, like it's just like how do you go from that to that? How do you not? How do you not lose your job under certain circumstances?
Yeah.
It just
Yeah. So it is what it is, man. But I think they got a puncher's chance against the Bengals. I mean I know it's a hard task to ask, especially going into their hometown and blah 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 blah. But think about this for a second. This team is fighting for a playoff spot for a reason. They're not that good on defense.
no. And I was looking at something earlier, and I guess we'll segue to this. Is that how many touchdowns to interceptions Joe Burrow has this season?
I mean,
42 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4,400 yards thrown.
wow.
Josh Allen. And Bills fans hate that. I just refuse to pick Josh Allen as MVP.
Why?
Hold on.
Why would they
Josh
think that?
Josh Allen as of now has 3,731 yards for the year. 28-6 are his numbers. Lamar Jackson. Hold on. No. Why are you not writing Lamar? There we go. Lamar Jackson for the season is 39-4 with 3,900 yards. And I believe I'm going to get Joe Burrow's exact stats. 46, 41, 42, and 8. First of all, I'm not going to pick Josh Allen because you're paying in a substantially weaker division. You are now the Tom Brady of that division without the championships. That's number one. Number two, you have, you beat Mahomes. Okay, that's all well and good, but he didn't lose again. The Chiefs aren't playing their starters this week. So, we'll give you that. But what else have you really done? Like, you made some history. First QB, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns in one game. Okay, that's cool. He did something else like the week before, the week after that. I don't remember. That's cool.
Right.
But like when it's all on the line, bro, you ain't gonna win. So like it doesn't diminish his season because they've played phenomenal, but Lamar's numbers are better. That's the first
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Lamar's now, granted, their record is better, the Bills, but Lamar's numbers are better. Let's just call what you have to call it. But if Joe Burrow, in order for them to get in, they have to beat us. Denver's got to lose to Kansas City without their starters. which is a tall task. And I think Miami's got to lose as well.
Okay.
So let's just say all that happens.
Yeah.
They get in. I don't care what no one says. Joe Burrow's the MVP.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. Okay. Go ahead. Let me just say this real quick though. I gotta push back on that because I don't believe in giving MVP titles to a losing team.
Okay. But wait, if they win, they'll be 9-8, won't they?
Come on.
Hold on. Well, hold on. But you gotta look at this. First of all, they start out the season 4-8. Now, he and so he literally has put the team on his back. He's the first guy to throw 3 touchdowns in 8 straight games in NFL history. And he beat the one team that now needs to lose for him to get in, which is Denver. I mean, he's literally put the team on his back and has carried them. And his numbers are better than the other 2 guys. And he lost his main running back. T. Higgins missed some valuable time this season. But as long as he's got number 1, I get it. He's got an opportunity. But their defense has let them down all season.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'm not saying it's his fault they're losing. I'm not saying that because obviously he's not a turnover machine like most of these quarterbacks. But what I'm saying is, come on, really? We're going to give it to – all right, look, let me say this. I don't think Lamar Jackson gets MVP. And the reason why is not because of football. Huh?
He's the wrong color.
It's not really that either. I'm going to tell you why. It's voter fatigue. This will be, what, his 3rd MVP?
Yeah.
I think they're tired of him getting MVPs.
Well, yeah.
And not winning anything. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like the opposite. It's almost the opposite with Josh Allen. Like he plays in a tougher division, but he wins, but he doesn't win when it counts.
But let's see. I'm looking at the MVPs right now. So Lamar won last year, and Lamar won in 2019.
Yeah. So this will be his 3rd MVP.
Mahomes won
5 years.
2018. Mahomes won 2022.
4 years. 4 years. Wait, 4.
Well, listen. It wouldn't surprise me if they fucked around and gave it to Mahomes.
Low key, he deserves it.
You know, like I mean,
he won all them damn games.
His stats aren't, let's see. His stats don't glamour off the page like the other 3 guys, but let's just see what they are. Because I don't know them off the top of my head. Damn, it's actually really not as bad as it looks. Like compared to what we're used to, like he's low key got a case. He's got 3,928 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions.
And how many losses, Mike?
Only 1. So
he's the MVP.
You definitely like I said, I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with Lamar.
But you know what's going to end up happening on Mike? They're going to give it to Josh Allen.
They got to give him something.
Because he's not the, and this is something I had a long time to think about this. Like I sat and I thought about it, especially watching them play the Jets yesterday. He's doing something we haven't seen before in football because we're used to the Lamar type quarterback now. We're used to the dual threat, right?
Right.
But we haven't seen Lamar be physical with the defense. I'm talking about like absorb hits like Josh Allen. Josh Allen is like a tight end playing quarterback. That's a big dude. I don't know if he's 6. He's like a white version of Cam Newton.
Okay.
We haven't seen this before. Like you get what I'm saying? And I'm not just making it about that. I'm trying to put things in perspective where we see what it is. Lamar potentially could win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow almost won the Super Bowl. Okay,
Okay.
we're talking legacy now. So he's been in the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, let's just keep it stacked. He's not going to the Super Bowl as long as Mahomes is playing. He's not. He's not. And I love the Bills. Bills are like my second favorite team, especially to watch. But he's not winning a championship. He's not leaving the AFC unless Mahomes get hurt, God forbid, or he retires. That's the only way that he's getting past the Patrick Mahomes Invitational. So with that being said, Mike, they're going to hand him this MVP because he probably won't ever do it. So he'd probably never have a season this great ever again.
So pretty much they're gonna give him So in other words, he could be considered the Joel Embiid of the NFL without the injuries.
Yes, without the injuries. Yes. Off of statistics, yes, that's a great analogy. Off of statistics and off of voters fatigue for Lamar, right? And also off of the fact that his team is good enough, but they're not good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So it's literally Joel Embiid effect.
Yeah. That's what it is. Like he is like Joel Embiid without the
injuries.
Without the injuries. Because Joel Embiid is effective when he plays and great during the regular season, but when it's time to win some games, get into the grind,
he's missing.
Dude's more fried than deep fried pot roast. Like,
and he's always crying because remember what happened in Toronto when Kawhi hit that shot, he walked off.
Yeah, the only time I ever seen Kawhi with that much energy.
Oh man, that was hilarious. Yo, he had them crying. He literally had everybody. Kawhi eliminated a lot of dudes that run. But I say that because you're right, Mike, and that's the thing we got to keep in mind. We got to keep in mind that the league is set up for storylines.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great possibility that they allow him to get this MVP because he might not win he might not ever go to the AFC Championship and win it. Just being real with you, like forget about winning the Super Bowl. He can't get past Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen.
No, and his team is not that good. Like he's literally playing with dudes that look like they worked at Walmart 2 years ago. Like I mean,
they worked at Walmart. I can't.
Wide receivers outside of Keyshawn Coleman, the rest of his wide receivers don't even look like they're real wide receivers. They don't.
Them dudes are just there.
Yo, they literally pulled up right before the game. It was like, yo, y'all know how to play football.
Yeah, like, all right, let's get it.
Yeah, we're gonna have Josh throw to you a couple of times, man. Just show up. Just put on his jersey and these pads, and we'll meet you guys back at the tunnel. Like it's just like he's playing with nothing. He's literally playing with nobodies. Outside of Keyshawn Coleman, he's the only one that looked like a real wide receiver.
Yeah, seriously, Keon Coleman. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's it. So, yeah, I think he's going to win MVP. You know what else too? And the last thing I'm going to say about the MVP race, if Lamar wins three MVPs in 5 years, you know what that makes him?
What's that?
The direct competition for Tom Brady. They'll never allow that to happen, man.
What do you mean the direct competition for Tom Brady?
Because remember, Tom Brady, didn't he win 3 MVPs in 5 years?
All right, hold on. I still got that MVP page up. Hold on.
Let me double check. I think I'm correct.
Tom Brady won MVP in 2007, 2000 up to hold on, 2007, 2010, and 2017.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Aaron Rodgers won.
But technically, I'm right though. He'd be in that same conversation because think about it: 3 MVP awards in less than 5 years.
Yeah, because hold on. Brady 2017, 2010. So he won 3 in 10 years. Peyton Manning won 2 back to back.
Right.
Rodgers won 2 in 4 years.
Yeah.
And then won 2 back to back later. Adrian Peterson got one. Shout out to him. Oh. I don't know. I don't know if that makes him. I think the closest thing to Brady for competition is Mahomes.
Well, yeah, as far as like Super Bowl goes, but I'm talking about like individual quarterback play. Like saying that's low key kind of a flex.
Mahomes
saying,
is two MVPs in 5 years, 2018 and 2022.
Yeah. So think about that. So if Lamar wins this year, right, that'd be like 5 or 6 years you won 3 MVP. So every other year you won an MVP, pretty much.
But if he's the best player, when we know, like you're right, voters fatigue and all that. I mean, that's why like they didn't give LeBron 5 straight years ago when the 1 year he didn't win was his best statistical season of the 5 years. Let make that make sense. But
right.
You know, but yeah, I think that the best player should win, which kind of brings me to a minor segue.
Okay.
I brought up Adrian Peterson winning. Saquon Barkley has cracked 2,000 yards this year. We know Adrian Peterson missed Dickerson's record by 9 yards. Couple things. Should Saquon play, for the record, on Sunday? Because we know he's 100 yards, about 100 yards away.
Right.
And the other thing is also, is it diminished if he gets it because he has an extra game under his belt to do?
So okay. To answer the question, I think you should go for it.
I do too.
Right? Because I think it's great for the game. I think it's great for running backs. I think it's good for the culture of football, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. One more question. If he does get it and he wins, I think we should throw all the quarterbacks out. Saquon's MVP.
Nah, see, now we're pushing it.
Well, you gave it to Peterson and he didn't get it. Yeah, now I'm just saying. You gave it to Peterson, he didn't get it. And he didn't get the record.
That's fair. However, I feel like that's kind of forcing it. Like maybe he should be like an honorary mention, but I don't think he should win the MVP. Like that's kind of pushing it, bro.
I don't think it is. If Peterson didn't get it, I would agree with you. But considering Peterson got it, I disagree with that.
But this is also going back to what I was going to say with the other part of the conversation, right? The other part of the conversation is, do you feel like it's kind of juice because he got an extra few games? And that's where the old heads come in and they say yes. Okay? That's where the OGs come in and they say absolutely because they got extra 2 or 3 weeks. See, when I was a kid, what is 14 games, 15 games? How many games? I don't even remember.
When I started watching it, it had always been 16. Like I started really watching like 04, 05. Like started really paying attention.
Okay. I think yeah, I started watching like in the 80s and 90s, like not like really watching in the 90s, like you know, early 90s with like Bo Jackson and stuff. But I say that to say I personally believe that they're going to use that as an excuse. That if it's 16 games that Peterson got it, and it's 18 games, even though it's 17 you play, right? You get a bye week, even though it's 18 weeks, they're going to say, well, he beat the record, but it was because of these extra games.
But okay, so now we gotta look at all right, because now it gets dragged a little further because I looked up the history.
Yeah.
So when Dickerson did it, it was a 16 game season.
Okay.
OJ had it before that, and it was a 14 game season.
Okay.
So pretty much it seems like now every time they add is when it gets taken over.
Yeah. And that is what's supposed to happen. The generation before needs, like for instance, we was watching NBA back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
They always had 82 games.
Yeah.
They always had 82 games. But guess what? In the 1960s, they had 50 something games, 60 something games.
Yeah.
So that's what made Wilt Chamberlain so impressive, because Wilt Chamberlain did things we never seen in 60 games, 60 something games.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you look at people like it's really about longevity. It's like, how long will this go on? Because when we look at Kareem got all them damn points because he played 20 years in the league and he had 82 games under him.
Absolutely.
And LeBron beat out Kareem because he outlived Kareem in basketball times. He played 20 plus years. He didn't just play 20. He played 20 plus years, 21, 22 years now, going on 22 years. So it's like, it's perspective. That's all I'm saying. But honestly, I don't feel like if it's up to the fans, maybe Saquon Barkley wins. But in this reality, I don't think so. Like,
I mean, like I said, I think that I can't say that you're wrong with that. But
yeah.
I do think, he's definitely a candidate and should get heavy consideration. I
Oh,
believe
absolutely, no doubt.
I
That's
believe
why I
it.
was saying honorable mention.
On top of that, there's no doubt in my mind, much like yours, that it's harder to play running back than quarterback. I think in
Oh,
the
absolutely,
you know, um,
absolutely.
so I'm not discrediting what the quarterbacks have done, but I do believe that there should be, because it seems like it is a quarterback award. And because you look at, I would just bring this list up again. I'm looking at the years going back to the first MVP, which was 1936. Fullback, halfback. You got a defensive back. Like back then, more halfbacks were in there, but still dominated by quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Jim Brown has a few of them here, but still, the defensive tackle in here, and
Okay.
that just shows you like the league had more respect for defense back then too.
Yeah.
You got defensive players in there. That's a rarity if even that's a thing anymore. Like,
Right.
so so now we're just looking at this I'm just looking at this full circle, right? I'm just looking at this full circle, and I just would like to see. I would much rather see, honestly, like, and I mean, I know it's overkill. One of my friends thinks it's a little much, but who I was talking to him earlier. But I think there should be two awards. Personally,
There
I
is two awards.
is there.
There's the MVP, and there's Offensive Player of the Year, and there's Defensive Player of the Year.
So why don't we ever hear about offensive player of the year?
I don't know. I really don't know. Adrian Peterson won it one year. He won it. When did he win it?
So now I'm going to look that up.
I don't think we emphasize it, but yeah, there's
that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Emphasize.
yeah, we don't emphasize it, but it's there. People want it. I don't know who won it last year, but yeah, he won it in 2012. He won an MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Last year he won?
Yeah, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Mark Henry. Jesus Christ, Derrick Henry.
Yeah. So there you go. So okay. So he can win that.
There's still quarterbacks in there. I just believe that MVP feels like it's a quarterback award. To me, just feels like it's a quarterback award. You know?
I think it's quarterback first, and then
like
whoever's dominant second.
Like you'll never see a wide receiver win it ever. It's not going to happen.
Even though I believe Randy Moss should have won it, but that's a whole nother topic.
Well, the thing about it is this: in order for you gotta think the wide receiver solely depends on the quarterback. If there's no good quarterback, or you're not getting those plays, like if your numbers are high, the quarterback's numbers will be even higher because it's just you got you and whoever else he's throwing to on the team.
But what if you're like what if you're a systems quarterback like Brock Purdy, and you got somebody like Debo Samuels that's like killing it after the pass? I mean, the catch, the run after the catch. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's stats to break this stuff down. It ain't about just the quarterback making good plays. It's also about that wide receiver catching and running.
True.
You know,
true. There are things that the wide receivers have to do because those rack yards are important.
Yeah.
But the other thing we look at, in totality isn't just the rack yards, just everything,
Oh, yeah.
It's just real hard, but you do have to have athletic wide receivers,
right,
in order to get to where you're going.
That's true. I'm not trying to downplay the quarterback's role in it. I think the quarterback is very important, very, very important. But I also know that the quarterback can also be a systems quarterback or be a quarterback that's just adding on to whatever. But he doesn't have to be. You can have a great wide receiver, and that's just the bottom line. Or you can have a great running back, and that's the bottom line. There's plenty of wide receivers that you just look at and say, if he plays on any team, he's going to put up crazy numbers, like Megatron.
Absolutely, yeah. What he did, we ain't never going to see nothing like that.
Never. And it's crazy because, if there's any wide receiver winning the MVP, he should have won it. Him or Randy Moss. This dude was insane.
Yeah, because, you're like,
yeah.
oh, that's
we never seen nothing like that in our lives. This dude was doing everything. He would literally just reach over dudes and grab the ball like this.
Oh, yeah, you're just like, yep, give me that.
Yeah, he's like, nah, you don't want it. I'll take it.
And he was just so tall and his length. So he would just be able to grab the ball.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I think Matt Stafford was the quarterback. He would just throw to him on the defender be right here. He'll throw to him on this hand, like basketball, just throw me the rock, and he'll just catch it. And I'm like, how the hell? He won't even jump.
He wouldn't need to jump.
He wouldn't even jump. He just put his hand up and catch it, just out the sky. It was crazy. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. So yeah, I think a wide receiver should and could win the MVP one year. I just don't know if it's going to happen in anytime soon.
It's definitely an interesting thing. So I want to talk about something LeBron, something
Also,
LeBron.
happy birthday, LeBron. Today's LeBron's birthday.
Shout out to LeBron, his birthday, 40 years old, still killing it.
Yeah. What did he say?
He said after they won on Christmas, no offense to the NFL, but today's our day. Do you know what the ratings were for
Oh man.
between both? Just take a guess. How many you think each sport had?
Well, I know the NFL was in like 20 something million per game.
They just did an average, but yep, 25 million.
Yep. And the NBA was like 2 million maybe per
No,
game.
no, they had more than that.
4 million.
They had five.
Okay. All right, here's my take on it real quick. I get what LeBron is saying, and he's right. He's 1,000% right. Because you and I grew up in the era, Mike. Christmas is like the unofficial day that basketball starts.
Yep.
Right? NBA basketball starts Christmas Day. But in this case, the NFL is just a mammoth. It's just I don't think we'll ever see a league this dominant. Like the NFL swallows leagues. Like, you don't even care. They don't even care if you got a game on. They don't even care if you got a game on. Think about this for a second, Mike. People literally had to log into their Netflix account,
Yep.
right? People literally had to stream the game just to watch the game. And both of the games were blowouts.
And they still watch them.
And they still sat and watched the games. And it's not like it was even close. NBA, most of the games, all the games, all the Christmas games, nationally televised. Free games. Free.
Yeah.
Not a single dime. Still can't even break 10 million. What does that tell you? The NFL isn't going anywhere on Christmas Day. If anything, they're going to add 2 more games. You're going to have 4 games on Christmas. Keep playing with them, LeBron. Keep playing with the NFL. I honestly believe the NFL can go to a 46 game schedule and they would still everyone watch every single game.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this, the NFL has a lot of power,
Yeah.
a lot of control, and they really just have to. They really look at everything. And I tell people all the time, like people say, "Well, why are they doing it?" I'm like, mofo. What makes the world go around? Money. Everyone wants the money. Everyone wants
That's
the
it.
bread. Everyone wants the power. So when you look at that power, that money, you're like, okay. You're like, I gotta get this. And
Yeah.
they're gonna do whatever it takes to get that money. Why do you think now there's a Black Friday game?
Right.
Why do you think now football is shown Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays, and
And sometimes Saturdays.
at the end of the season, Saturdays?
Yeah.
So I'm of the firm belief that we're going to get to a point where football's on 4 days a week.
Oh, absolutely.
Like consistently, meaning when that schedule releases, you're gonna have 4 days where the games will be split up. So you'll have one Monday. And listen, I could even see them going to this too, because you notice they're doing 2 Monday night games a week more. So
Right.
I could see
Right.
them going to 2 Monday night games at a point in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
one thing. Then the Thursday game is there. Who's to say it's going to stay at 1? Then, you got the Saturday games.
Mm-hmm.
They might say, okay, to help alleviate Sunday's big tickets, we're going to put 3 games on Saturday,
Right.
and now, like the start of this Netflix thing was the start. Because let me
Yeah.
tell you, it ran. Not everyone had luck, but I'm sure more people had luck with that than that damn Tyson fight.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's what was my biggest concern, especially with WWE going there next week, as a matter of fact.
Right.
starting up on Netflix next week. Like this was a big test to see if the Netflix server could handle the
Right.
NFL, and
Right.
we have proved that they can handle the NFL. So now you're looking at another kind of partnership here. What if they decide to show 3 games on Saturday on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you have that window. You have, and then you still have, and you don't even have to do it every week. I'm sure they can configure it, around bye weeks, because you don't want to weaken your Sunday. Your Sunday's still going to be your dominant mover, right?
Right.
But you got to look at it. And the fact of the matter is that people are going to watch the NFL. They're going to watch it, and they're not going to care who's on. They're not going to care what's on. The NFL does not care what's going on. They're going to show a game. If you got a show on, if you got a game on,
Yeah.
and it's going to control. NFL's more watchable. Excuse me. Than any other sport. Like, at least, right? Maybe worldwide. You obviously soccer, but in terms of the United States, ain't nothing being more watched than football.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like if you had a choice between American football or international football, which one you choose? I'm choosing American football all day because first off, it's a fun game to watch. Okay, it's high. It's way more high scoring compared to international football, which is soccer, right? Um, and to be honest, it's more glitz and glamour. Like it's more commercial. It's more fun. When you watch soccer, it seems like it's like a whole bunch of people from England or a whole bunch of people from an international country that doesn't really fit the culture of what we do here in America. And that might be, biased because I'm American, but I'd say that because they're like I said, they're swallowing sports, bro. They literally swallowed the NBA's ratings. Like they said, F your show. We don't care. You're gonna have to split. You're gonna have to watch 2 TVs, okay? Which I did, by the way. You're gonna have to watch it on Netflix, and then you have to switch to your cable.
Or watch it on your computer, your phone, your tablet.
Yeah, like I do when I'm at work, I watch Prime on my phone, right? I watch the NFL games Prime on my phone, and that's the only reason why I've been paying Prime for the past few years is because Thursday night football games.
Yeah. And then I
You
got a
know,
comment here that says college football goes crazy on Saturdays, especially down here in the South. It's over NFL.
see, and that's another thing. Okay, so let's talk about that. So college football is known for their Saturdays, sometimes Fridays, right?
Yeah.
College football will get dominated by the NFL if they decide to move to Saturdays
Oh
because
yeah. They're gonna
college
get the NFL. The NFL be giving everyone the Kirk Cousins.
we don't care.
Why do they don't care? And they're gonna make sure no one else cares.
And that's what they do. They don't care about your sport.
They
You
don't
think
care.
the NFL really cares about sports like that? They don't care about your damn sport. In fact, they'll tell you, look, we got a Saturday game. Either you watch it or you don't. And you're like, damn, I gotta watch it.
You just give in. You just give into it. There's just no other thing about it.
Exactly. You know how many times I done said on Sundays I ain't watching football.
And then
Heck,
yeah,
I ain't watching. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, how the hell am I? Because it's just the way it is.
you, you
It's
like
just
you
the way
like
it is. Because if you miss it, you're not going to be able to see it. You
you
get what
like
I'm saying? And that's what makes it so great is that it's only one, maybe 2 games a week that's with your team. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's oversaturated. Like basketball oversaturated. They got 82 games. That's too many damn games. You know,
well,
and you might get it on cable, you might not. NFL, it's like 3 or 4 channels you can watch. It's going to be on channel 2, Channel 5, Channel 4. You know it's on.
Yeah, people just understand. People just know, and it's all about like how you market it in your product too.
Yeah.
Like I'm even of the belief that other sports are starting to kind of get that modulant, or well, not every sport, but like you look at like UFC's
Yeah.
like when they have an event. Like I remember, I got one friend, Will. He's been dying for me to get into UFC. I've started like watching, but it's just I just don't know all the people and like all the like the belts and the divisions and stuff.
Yeah.
And we watched what I don't know not I don't know what it was. John Jones was fighting, and
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. When he fought this summer.
yeah, and I was just watching. I'm like, dang, this is intense. But the
Yeah.
main card don't start at 10. Like I'm like, I tell him, bro, I'm 36. By 10, I'm ready to go to bed. The main card starts at 10. Like,
Yeah.
like I was like, listen, the next time, bro, let me know so I can take a nap. If I take a nap, I'll make it. But if not, I look at the modulant of what they do. They have a product that people consume to. Like there's an excitement element. Someone gets knocked out, the whole room's like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I even like, me, I look at wrestling. I look at the modulant and which now they use. Because
Right.
now you look at what they've done, like the WWE meaning, not so much, all the smaller companies, but the WWE now sells out. They started with selling out just football stadiums, baseball stadiums. Well, now, like this year, they're going to Mexico, they're going to France, they're going.
Right.
They've been to Montreal. They go to all these different places now.
Mm-hmm.
In order to show their product and get it
Right.
in front of eyes. Like I remember last year they did Backlash in France. Backlash is right after WrestleMania, so it's either in April, beginning of May.
Right.
They were so loud the camera was shaking.
Wow.
Like that's how loud they were for their fans. And because now there's a people and there's a product that people want, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're able to grow that. The NBA just doesn't have the means to grow that product. And to me, like I've said, I believe that I like a lot of the things Adam Silver has done, but there's a lot of things that he's done wrong and a lot of things he hasn't fixed. How do you make All Star Weekend worse? Like I'm like fearful to watch this thing in February because it's
Right.
just like, like and just like you say, I ain't watching football. I do the same thing with the dunk contest every year. I said after the 3-point, I'm turning it off. I ain't watching it. What do? I watch it. I
Yeah.
watch it in prayers, in hopes, then saying that okay, maybe, just maybe, and then no, then that random white dude on the Sixers won out of nowhere twice.
That's in the G League.
I'm just like, who
That's
are you?
that's still in the G League. Yeah.
Like, so to me, it's just like, damn. It's just like, what are we doing here? What are
Mm-hmm.
we doing? Like, why are we doing this? Like,
Well, and this is the thing, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you can't look at it like that, but you have to. And I think every sport goes through its golden age.
yeah,
Like the NBA went through its golden age when it had Michael Jordan. It was off the tail end of Magic and Bird. You know what I'm saying? Like they had their golden age of actual viewership and participation and love because it wasn't old or it wasn't new. It was just right in between, and you had superstars that you can hang your hat on. And plus, the amount of games and how you consume the games were put together a certain way. So the reason I'm saying is because the model for the NBA back then in the 90s was, hey, you got to catch it on TV live. Like you're not going to catch it online, replays online or whatever. You might catch some highlights on ESPN, but you're not going to see the full game unless you watch the actual game. So it incentivized people to actually sit down and watch the game live, right?
yeah,
Now, as far as the golden age for other sports, baseball had its golden era with Ken Griffey Jr., with a whole bunch of superstars that was coming up, like Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. That was a golden age for baseball back in the 90s, right?
Absolutely.
Now look at baseball. People are like Cam Newton is saying it's a dying sport. Low key, I kind of agree, but it's because they have too many games. It's 136 games, bro.
What, baseball?
Yes.
I think it's 162.
Or I'm sorry, you're right. 162 games. It's had 136. That's when it was a lockout season. 162 games.
Well, the other thing too is in this day and age, it's very hard even doing what we do with podcasting because people have a short attention span, and
Yeah,
that even includes myself.
we all do.
With like take music. Redman
Mhm.
just dropped an album, and then when I opened it, it had 32 songs. I'm like, damn, man, 32
See,
songs. Like, what you doing to me here?
that's
And
what I'm saying.
I've gotten through like 2/3 of it, but I gotta listen like Chris Brown. Oh my god, his albums be like 4 hours. I'm like, geez, bro, I'm gonna need 2 weeks. I'm gonna need a vacation to listen to this album.
Yeah,
Like, and
and
that's
yeah. No, what I'm saying. To think about that though, Mike. Like, you literally have to schedule time to listen to albums if you're a true fan of a person that's putting out music that's like 25 plus or 20 or more than 10 tracks,
oh,
right?
just for the record, trust
Yeah.
me, I'm a big Chris Brown fan. I've been
Oh
listening.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. I agree. But what I'm saying is, like, even if
They
you
get
are a
one
fan,
full
it's a
listen.
struggle.
They get one full listen. Because yeah, no, you're right though.
It's because we're moved into another age. We're moved into that's like analog versus digital, right? You and I, we grew up in the era of both. We were on the tail end of analog, right? And then we walked in or we grew up in the digital era where you had Spotify. I mean, not Spotify, you had Napster. You had all these streaming services before there was Spotify and all these other companies, right? So we're used to both sides. We're used to you had to go to the store to buy your album. But kids that are younger than us, they're not used to that. They never experienced going to a record store, going to Walmart and buying an actual album. They're not used to that. So I say all that to say every league, I believe, every major league like hockey, basketball, baseball, football, they all have their golden era of actual viewership and people that's involved and engaged in it. The 90s was great for all sports, all across football, baseball, basketball, hockey. It was great because we didn't have the internet. So if you missed that game, you missed that game.
It was over unless you had a VCR.
Right, unless you had a VCR or you was, somehow, some way you found somebody that had the tape. Like the point is now, fast forward to 2024, going into 2025. Now you can go to YouTube, you watch your favorite highlight, or you go online, you go to TikTok, you watch your favorite highlight, and you're good. You got your fix of football. You got your fix of basketball, baseball. You don't need to watch the full 2.5 hour game.
Nope. And then the other thing is they have consolidated games now. So like if let's
Right.
say you join like NFL Plus or whatever it's called, you
Yeah.
actually have they have an option where you can buy the game and they consolidate the game into 60 minutes and show you like the big plays, the best parts.
There you go.
Like a guy, or like you said, you can buy one game or buy with NBA, buy one team's games for the whole season and not
Yeah.
have to buy the whole ticket. To me, I
Right.
think that actually helps them because now you got more people that instead of saying, damn, I don't need to buy the whole thing, spend $300-400, just buy your
Right.
team. And I think that's
Yeah.
something the NFL should invest in too, because you can say you can buy your team. It just sucks when you have one of those in between teams like me. Like my friend last year, she bought the ticket, and then the Steelers got a lot of games on TV because the Jets got a lot more primetime games because of Aaron Rodgers. So
Right.
now Steelers are the next closest team. So they would get 1 o'clock games. So she's like, damn, I bought this whole thing and I got like 4 games because all the rest of the games were either in prime time or were shown because the Jets didn't play.
Right.
Like they didn't play at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I just have to announce this or say this on camera. So I don't know. You know Oswin Benjamin, right?
Yes.
So he's from the 845 from Newburgh, local rapper, but he has turned out. He is now one of the illest rappers. Bro, he just put on his Instagram story that January, like I think it was 29th, he is performing at the halftime show of the Phoenix Suns and Memphis Grizzlies game.
Oh wow, that's dope, man. That's excellent. Congratulations, man. That's what's up.
845, like performing at halftime shows.
Yeah,
Like
that's huge.
you know that's a big deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
So we gotta support our people.
Definitely, man. And it's good to see artists that we know personally, you know what I'm saying, that we grew up with or grew up in the same neighborhood with. That's still going out there reaching their goals and reaching their dreams, man. Congratulations to them. That's what's up.
Absolutely. So just wanted to put that out there quick. So okay. So there's a couple more. I'm gonna end at 8 because I gotta be to work at 4 a.m. again.
Good.
Yeah. But going back to driving, there are gonna be days I gotta start at 1:30, 2:30. Like,
whew.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. It'll be better financially, but it's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
So, couple players, and I'm gonna switch back to the NBA. Couple players we talked about. Fox want to be traded. What do you think about D'Lo getting traded to your Nets
again?
Even though they didn't get rid of
we keep doing this dance with Lakers, man. This is like the second time.
The Lakers and the Nets. But what the thing is, they still can't get rid of Ben Simmons.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm being real with you. I think this is actually a good trade because they both went to high school together.
Oh, D'Lo and Ben Simmons?
Yeah, they won a state championship together. So if anything, he's going to help unlock Ben. Pause. But you know what I'm saying? He's going to help. He's going to help Ben become a better player on the court because at this point, I don't know what's going to help Ben because we heard every excuse in the book. Yeah. And nothing's working. Like he's just trash, bro. The fact that you're making $25-35 million in a year and you're not even putting up 15 points a game, yo, bro, you need to have a seat. Like for real, you need to retire.
Did you see that video the other day that I tagged you?
Yeah.
Him just missing the lane.
It's sad, man. It's sad. It's still, we gotta just look at it for what it is. Ben Simmons is a con artist. He's a scammer.
Yo, he really is. And I think, but I just don't know what their plan is. Now, I'm also seeing though, really that trade really helped the Nets stock up more picks. Which they're sitting at 19 picks right now.
Which is crazy.
I think the only other team who has just as many is OKC.
Yeah.
And we see what that's done. Now, I'm hoping they've learned their lesson after 2 failures of trading the farm to get, and I think the first time was worse than the second, the KG, Paul Pierce, because by the time they got to Brooklyn, it was over. I
agree.
They were washed. I mean, there's just too many miles on that boat, too many miles on that car. But I mean, the second time was a little like they had a better chance, but it just wasn't what it panned out to be. I hopefully this time they'll be able to keep the picks. They'll keep their picks and be able to build a contender for you guys.
Yeah, but let's keep it real. We're in a microwave society, like we talked about with how people consume content, right?
Right.
And New York is a fast-paced city, even though they're Brooklyn, they're still a part of New York City. Um, and they're not going to just wait to build a superstar because they had a few potential superstars that they gave away. One of them being Jared Allen. I love Jared Allen. He became an all-star, and it's like, damn, so you're gonna move him to Cleveland for who? You know what I'm saying? They did the same thing with Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert was on his way. He was becoming a superstar. They moved him on his way to Cleveland, even though
Well,
that's his hometown. But
I think it depends. If you draft, let's just say, like if I were to level players 1 through 5, one being
yeah,
like bench player, two being um, like role player, 3 starter, 4 all-star, 5 superstar, right?
right, right.
You can get like an all-star and a good starter. That's a good core. Now, let's say you get that in the next 2 drafts. Then let's say you mortgage some of those later draft picks, not all of them. You
But
mortgage,
some,
yeah, you mortgage like 3 to get you a decent third player or another star, maybe even superstar caliber player, right? You
right.
just utilize the system smarter to get. You might
Hmm.
have to mortgage off some contracts and move some pieces around, but if you just have some of that, because you retain a lot of those draft picks, right? And because if it don't, there's a chance it ain't gonna work out, and then
Yeah,
boom, you end up getting more. You get more with what you had. All you need is something, one of something.
right.
So don't trade the farm. That's the problem. That's the mistake they keep making. They keep trading the farm, and when they trade the farm,
And
that's
that's because once again, fast-paced society, right? So the reason why we did that trade in the first place with Paul Pierce and KG and Jason Terry was because we weren't selling tickets. We weren't selling tickets to the Barclays Center. Same applies with the whole situation with Kyrie and KD. Once again, have the opportunity on the table. Weren't selling tickets. Let's get these people to fill up this building.
exactly.
And then we turned around and sold the rest of whatever we had left. We sold it on James Harden and Blake Griffin. So it's like, my point is, they're in the business to make money. They're not in the business to win championships. That's what the Knicks are in business for. That's what the Brooklyn Nets are in business for. They're in business to sell damn tickets and to get people to not sign up, but come through the marquee and buy tickets. They're not here to win any type of championship.
Yeah,
So when it comes down to it, I wouldn't even blink an eye if they told me, oh, well, we got 19 picks. And then a year later, they talk about they're giving out the 19 picks. I wouldn't be surprised because they're going to pick up a superstar in the next year or two, somebody that's on his way out, probably, the next year or two, or somebody that's like a mid-level superstar. And we're going to trade those picks in because guess what happens with all those picks? They become nobodies if you don't do anything with them.
absolutely. And then and then hold on,
But
and then
but
you look at it.
but But I will say this: if I was the GM, this is how I would do it. If I had 19 picks, you know what I'm doing? I'm moving up in the draft. I'm moving up in the draft every season for the next 3 seasons. I'm gonna say, okay, I need a top 5 pick. I need a top 3 pick with these second round and first round picks. I need to do whatever it takes. If I got to trade some of my players plus move some of these picks, I'm doing whatever it takes just to get in the top 2 to top 3. I mean, the top 3 to top 5 in the draft every single season for the next 3 to 5 seasons.
Yeah,
Because
it
one of
makes
those
sense.
guys is going to be a superstar.
Oh, and it is guaranteed that that's what's going to happen. You're gonna have at least some wherewithal to have that happen.
Right. That's how
So
I would do it. But what's going to end up happening, like I said, is they're going to keep playing the game, keep playing the game. They're going to find some talent, and then they're going to trade everything away and start all over again, like they did a few years ago with Katie and Kyrie.
absolutely.
Doesn't matter.
So yeah, well, it's now 8 o'clock. I
Yes.
just want to make sure there's nothing else you wanted to cover before we headed out before we head out of here.
No, just want to wish everybody happy New Year's. I know a lot of people out there. It's like what 24 hours late. I mean, 24 hours. It would be no 48 hours. Excuse me, 48 hours to be New Year's, 2025. Those who haven't wrote down their resolution, what they want to do in 2025, please do that now. Please have a game plan moving forward in 2025, and let's make that the most successful year ever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, guys, there's some big announcements coming, hopefully, for this show. We're going to try and move the needle for real this time. Might have the means to do it. So just stay backstage, bro. After I go off live, I just want to talk to you about something off camera.
Got you.
So, everyone, have a happy new year. Nerd Camp will be back next year, 2025. We're going to do it bigger and better than ever. So, peace.
Peace.